Sir, I seek to move for leave to introduce a bill to abolish death penalty in the country.
The question is that the leave be granted to introduce the bill. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Please introduce the bill.
I introduce the bill.
Item number item number 58 also, Srimati Kanimuri Karunanidhi.
I seek to move for leave to introduce a bill further to amend the Indian Penal Code 1860 and the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973.
तो किसी भी पुरुष को ये अधिकार नहीं है हमारे पर कुछ भी बात करना। कोई अपनी माँ से ये बात नहीं कहेगा कि आप मेरी नजरों में देखकर बात कीजिए, आप मेरे दिल में बैठती हो, या बहनों को नहीं बोलेगा। तो मुझे लगता है कि सभी पुरुष यहाँ पर जितने भी हैं वो हमारे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्टेड है, क्योंकि आपके बिना हमारी ज़िंदगी नहीं है। तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम आप लोगों से कमज़ोर हैं। अगर लड़ने की बात आएगी तो हर महिला यहाँ पे बैठे हुए, पक्ष अलग होगा, पार्टी अलग होगी, हम सब एक होकर महिलाओं के प्रश्नों के लिए सब लड़ेंगे। और इससे उन्हें आपने स्ट्रिक्टली, और उन्होंने कहा बहुत अच्छे से कि आप मेरी छोटी बहन लगती हैं। अरे बहन के सामने अगर झुक जाते तो भाई कभी छोटा नहीं होता, भाई और बड़ा हो जाता। तो भाई ने अगर झुक के दो शब्द बात कर लिए होते और सॉरी बोलते तो शायद आज वो बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े हो जाते। तो मैं, हमारी कोई भी महिलाएं यहाँ इस सदन में बैठी हूँ तो मुझे लगता नहीं कोई भी इस चीज़ को सपोर्ट करेगी, इसके विरोध में हमेशा रहेगी। फिर पार्टी इज़ नॉट मैटर, इट इज़ जस्ट अ फीमेल सपोर्टर, बिकॉज हम बहुत मुश्किल और बहुत परेशानियों से लोगों को जवाब देते देते यहाँ पर आए हैं।
Draw the House's attention that it's very, very encouraging to see members stand up, all wanting to speak in one voice about what happened yesterday in the House. Utterly condemnable conduct. I'm not repeating. Honorable Minister Babul Supriyo is right when he says none of us will choose to repeat those words. But yet, the entire country watched it, even as the session was going on here, and later in the night when it was all being repeated. I'm extremely grateful to every honorable member who stood up in support of this absolutely emotional moment where all of us are offended, not just because a woman has been spoken so badly, but a woman who's occupying the chair. Every time we repeat to ourselves here, saying we better conduct ourselves in such a way as the nation is watching us, conduct ourselves in such a way that we respect the chair. And in the chair, when a woman is seated, it's not an easy position to reach for a woman, but a woman reaches there. And a respectable member of parliament who's been in the House for several years. This was visibly seen by everybody. And at this time, I wish to underline the fact, and at this time, to again politicize an issue related to women is outrageous. Let's all stand together, speak in one voice, which is what I thought was happening here. Why is that hesitation? Why is that dilemma? Why is that doubt? Why is that bringing? Let me finish. Let me finish. I've heard everybody. Sir, I've not named anybody. I've not named everybody. I should be allowed to talk. I should be allowed to talk. I should be allowed to talk. I should be allowed to talk.
Let her complete. Let her complete.
I should be allowed to talk. I've not taken anybody's name. Why is anybody feeling guilty? Speaker, sir, I would like to ask, am I not allowed to speak uninterrupted? I've heard everybody, and I've not taken anybody's name. If, unfortunately, even as I say a line, there's a sense of guilt and that makes people stand up, I'm sorry. Is that the case? Then please sit down. Hear me out. Hear me out. Sir Speaker, hear me out. Speaker, sir, I've sought your permission to stand up and put my voice across. I've sought your permission. I've sought your permission to stand up and speak. So, let me be allowed to say what I want to say. I have not named anybody here. For people to object and get up to interrupt my speech here. Interruption, I've never done. But please, Let's all have the strength of conviction to hear what the other member has got to say. Thank you. Don't judge me. Sir, I object to that comment. I object to that comment. I object to that comment.
You continue, madam. You continue.
Sir, when a member of parliament could name a woman, when a member of parliament can stand up and question on somebody, when a member of parliament can stand up and judge people, there's no democracy in this house if that's the way in which it is. And therefore, I would now say, I started by saying, I thank every member who supported this cause. I repeat that. I like to repeat that. I stood up to say, irrespective of the bloc to which we belong, all of us have stood to support a woman. At this time, I wish all of us do stand up again to make sure that we don't have fine lines drawn here or conditions attached to our support or add riders to what we are saying. It is an abominable act. I wish, let me complete, sir, please. Let me complete. I think all of us have the strength to hear us out, one another out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not here. I'm standing as a member of this house, not here, Rajya Sabha.
Yeah.
Sir, therefore, I think, this is not done. Sir, I appeal to you, Speaker, sir, like the way it was suggested, I think it is important. You are empowered adequately. The House gives you enough power, sir, and more. We all honor you and respect you. In this particular case, every member of the House has felt strongly. We look towards you for an exemplary action in this matter. Please do your consultation with as many leaders as was suggested by Honorable Member Bhartrihari Mehtab. Please do consult everybody. But an exemplary action is what we are looking forward from you, so that never ever in this House, especially in this House this year, when we have adequate number, more than enough number of people who can stand up, women who can come and speak here, please ensure that you take exemplary action so that never ever woman will be politicized or woman will be treated badly or abused. Thank you.
Introduction extensively talked about India doing better and better in ease of business, and the whole idea of getting this ordinance was to make sure that we do better, there's more wealth and job creation for the country and the economy improves. Now, I know your arm's length from the economic survey, but I still believe it's still a part of the finance ministry, and obviously the person who writes it, the editor, is somebody nominated by you. So there's just, for my clarification, I have just 4 pointed questions to you, sir. There's a conclusion in it, says, while the economic uncertainty stemming from uncontrollable factors beyond control of policymakers, they can control economic policy uncertainty. Reducing economic policy uncertainty is critical because both domestic investment and foreign investments are strongly deterred by increase in domestic policy uncertainty. And there is one small point which says prospect of export growth remains weak at 2019-19 if status quo is maintained. However, reorientation of economic policies are targeted. It's mostly because of the China-US trade tensions and how it's going to affect us. So my concerns is that this whole rush of bringing these several ordinances are to do ease of business, as you mentioned. So if this was done 6 months before, we don't see any drastic improving in the economy. And from the area where I represent is Pune district, where there are huge investments of motor vehicles and productions. And in the last 3 quarters, unfortunately, we haven't done particularly well. And the same economic survey says that 5 quarters consistently our economy has not been able to do well. So our really concerns are what legislations do we really need to bring in, or your whole intention of cleaning up the system, which I totally appreciate and respect, but I think we need to bring in more things together to make it a robust economy for job and wealth creation for people. I think that really should be our agenda. While you're saying I need just 4 quick clarifications, is in 10A, you've talked about shell companies. The government takes great pride in saying that about over 2 lakh companies have been shut. Now, we have no clarity of what kind of companies they were. First of all, there was no ruling about shutting them before. So what intervention or under what rule did you do them then? And how is it going to change now? And were these companies just like Benami companies, shell companies? What kind of companies? There's really no clarity. So it makes a great statement that we have shut 2 lakh companies. But what is really the output of it and what difference has it made or what kind of black money is generated? If you could kindly clarify about that. The other point is you've created this NFRA. Now, if I could stand corrected, but this was something that the UPA government had brought in 2013. Now, as Professor Saugata Roy mentioned earlier, that both CSR and NFRA are both babies of the UPA. And we take great pride in them. I think Pinaki Mishra doesn't like it, but I guess everybody has a right to a different opinion, and that's the beauty of our democracy. And I'm very proud that we did bring in CSR because I do see good interventions done through CSR. But there's one small problem in CSRs which I feel is, and you're controlling them even further now, and I remember in a question hour, your MOS Finance had replied about it, that we have CSR in companies, but it can be used for districts which are distressed or programs like that. Like the state I come from, they are used for malnutrition programs and other. But even the localized people who have given their land for generations and years also need, it could be in schooling, could be a healthcare project. So if you tighten the nose so much, and if it's only going to be people in power getting to use for their flagship programs, I think there's a little bit of injustice done to the local people who have contributed to that company. So if you could reconsider or see a way and show more faith in people doing business. I don't think anybody doing business in India is actually just robbing. There are few bad apples. That doesn't mean the whole basket is bad. So in CSR, how can we find a way where even locals get some benefits, plus we're happy if the other districts which need the money or programs need it. I don't think anybody has an objection to that, but I think we need to relook in that. Same thing about NFRA, like Professor Roy talked about it, like Satyam, ILFS. Now, 6 years ago, the NFRA is lying with this government. Justice delayed is justice denied. NPS have gone over 15 lakh crores. My pointed question is, by bringing in this now, which is so late, it's better late than never, but will there be some retrospective action taken on several companies which have already duped this country? And a lot of accountants at that time, there were allegations that they have helped. So what action will you go? I'd like to quote the Honorable Home Minister the other day in a UAPA debate said, it's not just the organizations. There are even people who destroy. So when you brought the anti-terrorism bill, that was the thinking of the government that was made out. So when a whole organization, be it a Benami company, or be it a CSR, or be it even a company like Satyam or ILFS or whoever, will there be a pointed action even on directors, or will it just be the organization which will get affected? And my last point is that in Amendment 212, you've talked about staff. Now, in SFIO, you're already struggling with people. Now, you're giving the job from a director to a deputy director, which is, I've noticed there's a lot of policing happening in all these. We did it even in the UAPA. By doing this, are they sensitized and aware of how the legislation works? So if a director is aware, but you give it to a deputy director, would there be misuse of harassment? Or have you found a program? Because even in SFIO, you still haven't been able to manage sensitization of implementation. So I'm sure your intention is very, very noble, but I hope the implementation doesn't become an harassment, because people doing business in India doesn't make them bad people. There are a lot of good business houses which do good CSR, good work in this country. So I just urge the honorable government that to do ease of business, let's not just penalize people for doing business. We must make sure business is generated, jobs are created, and wealth is created not only for the top of the pyramid, but the bottom of the pyramid also. Thank you, ma'am.